32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Surlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. I am Spaceboy and Surlana somewhere out there in the universe taking pictures, and this is Spaceboy Universe. It is November 13th, 2016, and we're on show number 109. This is the Houston Mini Maker Faire Day 2 event. As always, if you want to follow us, you can do that on Twitter. That's at the SBU Universe. You can follow Surlana at Surlana, and of course, follow me at Spaceboy Music. You know, the show is on demand and in charge, so if you want to find us on the internet, do so by going to the spaceboyuniverse.com website. That'll get you in where you can go to all our social media and anything that's archived. Also, if you want to click on the dancing chat bubble, you can do so. That'll get you in with all the cool kids in the chat room. Now, before I go any further, it has been a wonderful, wonderful 2 days here at the convention, and we've had some great people we've gotten a chance to talk to, but what's even better than that is to have these people come and sit down with us and have a conversation, and we have more of that right now. So to my immediate right is Gus. Gus, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Dan.
Good. Let me pump up your volume here. Let's see here. Make sure you got it in the mic, is it? There we go. Okay. So tell us, Gus. I know I got to see some of your product and everything, but give us a warm introduction about you and everything about why you're here at the Mini Maker Faire.
I'm here because of a challenge by my daughter for me to come up with a product that she had seen, which I did do. And then I showed her how to build that product also. She builds them down in Houston. We make boom boxes out of old vintage suitcases.
It is quite interesting. I know the day one when I first got here, and I was kind of cruising by your booth, I was kind of floored because one, it just, you don't usually see something like that, and it's so unique as far as a product is concerned. But I'm a musician myself, so I was like, wow, this is would be really cool to take with me. And taking something that's vintage and unique, because I have a few of those old suitcases at home, I thought, wow, that sounds like a really good idea. But you made it happen along with your daughter. And so tell us more about the product.
Basically, it's a amplified speaker system that take the components from a company that we buy wholesale from, put them inside the suitcase after you cut the holes, and basically let people use it playing their own music.
So where did the genesis of this product come from? I mean, give us the beginnings of where it came from.
My daughter went on a photo shoot with some of her girlfriends in California, where they happened across some of the speakers that were being made out there.
Okay.
She brought that novel idea back with her from California, and the business has grown since then.
Okay. So introduce yourself. Don't be quiet and don't be bashful. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Jackie Davis.
Hello, Jackie. How are you today?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm great.
I promise I won't bite. Maybe just a nibble. But so tell us about your end in this wonderful venture with your dad.
Well, like you said, it was a challenge that we wanted to do together. He's from Kansas, and I've kind of grown up doing a lot of hands-on projects with him, whether it's carpet around the house or, learning other trades that he does. And I learned it with him. We had a lot of fun, and people seemed to enjoy them when we made them. So we decided to continue making them and try to sell them, and so other people could enjoy them as well at their homes.
And what's been some of the reactions you've gotten while here at the convention?
People love it. They think it's a great idea. They're very familiar with having suitcases, or their family members, grandparents having similar suitcases, and it's a little bit of nostalgia,
So tell us a little bit about your past as far as, have you always been kind of into this invention as a creativity, or as she was saying, kind of using, stuff that one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of situation? Tell us a little bit about that.
My beginnings with electronics was my mom's television, old RCA with a speaker in the bottom behind a piece of cloth, and I always wondered where the voices were coming from, so I took the cloth off.
Well, I know that I went to a similar path, but my voices, I think they almost put me in a hospital. But yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because I was kind of the same kind of kid. Tear things apart, see how it works. I even tore apart my parents' console TV back in the 70s, and those things are huge.
Very big,
with the tubes and everything. But tell us more.
So after taking it apart and suffering the repercussions of my mom finding out that it was all torn up, I decided as I grew older that maybe that was something I should do. So I took all the courses in high school that were available back then, all the shops. When I got out of high school, I got drafted, and I had they saw in my test that I scored very high in electricity, so they put me in Signal Corps, where the Army trained me even more.
First off, thank you for your service.
I got drafted.
Still, service is service, right?
That's true.
I had a lot of my family was in the military, Air Force, and Army. And
okay.
So
my dad retired 30 years in the Army.
So I have a great appreciation for anybody that's drafted or otherwise.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
I understand. Yeah. Like I said, I was a military brat, and then I was drafted, and then I got trained even more, and then I got out and I went to work for Xerox for a few years, and then I went to work for factories in our local area, electricians for them. I do plumbing, I do welding, I do it all, woodworking.
So you're like a jack of all trades then.
I most certainly am.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell us more about your daughter and how you kind of, did she kind of shine on to, you sound like you would do projects, and then did you kind of pull her in, or was it something that she just wanted to be around you and experience?
She had hands-on training primarily because she was my left hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it was either her or her mother, and whenever we had projects, they were usually pretty large, like putting a hardwood floor down in the house, or installing or finishing a basement, so yeah, you always need to have somebody around to get you the hammer that you left over in the corner,
screwdriver,
while you're holding the sheetrock up on the ceiling.
So with your dad pulling you into these projects, how do you feel, compared to now, then and now? Did you feel like, oh, I can't believe I had to do this, or was it just you love just hanging out with your dad? And
no, it's really educational, and he's a really good teacher, and he's patient. So it was something I always wanted to participate in, and I think part of he influenced a lot of me wanting to learn and like kind of innovate different things that through him, whether it's cooking or putting things together. Like I want to try and manipulate and try to make it kind of my own as well. And I think he was a great influence on why I even came to Houston in the first place when I started sound engineering school out here.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, you go from living in Kansas to coming to Houston. That must have been a big change for you.
It was a big change. But, I had a lot of support out here as well, because my sister moved out here to Houston before I came.
Oh, great, great. And so how are things going with I don't want to assume that you're too young or too old. Are you still doing the college thing, or you?
I am no longer in college.
Okay, because you look so youthful. That's why I asked, and I didn't want you to think you were, you put your dad in a position where he's that old or anything like that. Gus, you could chime in anytime you like. So you got your degree?
Yeah, I finished my associates at HCC, and I ended up at U of H. And U of H, I was working on my business degree, and I'm a few credits short of that.
Well, I don't want to knock it, but I have followed the same path. University or HCC, got my associates there, and working towards getting my degree at probably University of Houston downtown or U of H. So I mean, it's kind of like the thing to do if you're in Houston to get that Houston degree. So, and what can you tell us about your dad? That I mean, you kind of told us that he's patient. He works with you, and what is it that you would like to tell the audience that about the man behind the box?
He's a very genuine person, a good person. Tends to make friends wherever he goes. Everybody enjoys his company. He makes, he makes people comfortable, and that's a very good trait to have. Like, very open. Great teacher, great dad, great grandparent. Supportive, awesome.
Now,
influencer.
I hope she's not trying to butter you up for a good Christmas present or something like that.
It's already done.
So now, since she's kind of told us her side and how she sees things, tell us a little bit of how you feel about your daughter and how she's grown up and the proud papa kind of situation here.
Yes, I'm very proud of her. She is a hardworking, intelligent daughter who I think doesn't really realize her full potential yet. Being just a few credits shy of getting that degree should be paramount with her and her decisions and things that she does. She enjoys building boxes as much as I do, and between that, we have a good connection. I think out of my three daughters, I baby her the most.
Now, are you the oldest?
I'm the youngest by 11 years.
Okay.
10, 11 years.
Okay.
And because of that, like I say, I tend to give her a lot more leniency or leeway than I would her older sisters. But they're all good girls, and I love them all, and the grandkids are great. And like I say, Jackie, she sometimes gets misdirected, but she finally gets, sees it and goes back, the way she should go.
Now, it's important to get to the point in this part of our conversation is that if people want to reach out to y'all and find out more about the boxes and all that good stuff, how can they do that?
We have a website. It's gddboombox.com. And
everybody looked over to the daughter, and she shook her head, not knowing that you have to actually say something into the microphone. But that's great radio for you. Anyway, you were saying.
So yeah, they can reach us on our website or on my email, and I would give out my telephone number, but I don't think it's
no. That's good. Let's let them take a bite of the apple, and if they want the whole apple, then you can go from there.
There you go.
Yeah. So, but anything else you want to add? No, Jackie, you're getting that, shaking that head. Got to say something.
She doesn't have a website here in Houston. She builds the boxes in Houston. I build them in Kansas, and we're going to try and do more shows down here.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Great. Yeah. Well, then we would definitely look forward to seeing you at another convention or a show. So
I hope so, Dave.
Yeah, I just want you to know that we will go ahead on our end on our social media and let everybody know the website and all that good stuff,
right.
And because we think it's a great product. It's really cool. It's I think everyone should have one in their house, and I hope that's underselling it right now. But we do really appreciate y'all both stopping by and making the time for Spaceboy Universe.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So handshake here, handshake there. Anyway, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have more Spaceboy Universe. So stand by. Hey, Space Cadets. Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe. This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there. This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Laura Jalil. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about t-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a t-shirt for yourself.
Is it just t-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just t-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
SpaceboyUniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at SpaceboyMusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to SpaceboyUniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 713-701-5214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
Okay, we're just coming back, and Surlana, you got headphones on, too?
Yeah.
So, Gus, he's quite an interesting guy. I like him, and his daughter, Jennifer. And they're very nice people.
I gave up my headphones so you can do two people at one time. And is Jim coming next?
He is. It's only 18 minutes past the hour, and man, the air just kicked in.
Oh, that feels good.
It does feel good. I guess we're right over.
So I found a gimmick for the kids.
Okay. Yes.
We took Spaceboy's helmet and we put it on a table that's out in front of us. We got a nice setup here, by the way. Thanks, Dave. And I just put a little note card that says, "Try me on, take a photo," so the kids can have something to do. And of course, we're giving away some Hot Wheels cars because we want to make it worth the kids' while for coming by. So, because we're more for the parents, but we most of the time do a family-friendly show. There might be some topics kids wouldn't be interested in, or maybe you don't want them to listen to. But for the most part, I think we're fairly PG. And I've maxed out my iPhone for photos. I'm having to go through here and delete things that I don't really want to delete.
Well, I just sent you a picture.
Okay.
Did you get it through your text?
My text?
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you. Awesome.
So, excuse me while I take a little swig of my drink here.
Yeah, so while they were doing all that, I was talking to people. I pulled out our flyers and, just put some things in there to let people know they could pick one. And I put that box there and says, look, we're broadcasting live.
And there's some dead air. All right, so, but it was interesting to see Gus and his daughter Jennifer's project that they have going on there with these boom boxes that are made out of luggage.
Vintage luggage.
Vintage luggage, no less. And it's really cool. I believe that it's Bluetooth enabled.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, I couldn't hear any of this.
Yeah, it was, it's quite a different thing when you have the headphones on.
Yeah, well, I was busy.
Didn't mean to give Jennifer such a hard time, but it's always fun to...
was she at least laughing about it?
Yeah, she was good. She was good. I was kind of making fun of her because she was shaking her head like yes, and I said, you have to speak into the microphone and actually be able to be heard. So what else? Another thing is that...
Here comes Jim.
You have been so enamored with the fish car. And,
yes.
And so... I believe I
finally got some good video of that, by the way.
So this is as live as we could get. Jim, are you ready to sit down? Or? Okay. So, yeah. So, are you going to be with us too? Oh, if you want to sit right over here.
I'm going to take video maybe while he brings a puzzle and someone tries to solve it.
Are you going to be on the mic?
I have no idea.
Well, let's go ahead and I guess sit right here for right now.
Or bring a chair over if you want.
Or bring a chair over if you want. And we're just going to continue the yap until Jim gets back. And so...
I'm trying to clean up the pretzel
dust?
Pretzel's dust.
Pretzel dust.
I thought you didn't even like pretzels.
I love pretzels. I
don't, little hard ones.
I don't. Well, that's different. You saw how soft the soft pretzel was, right?
It's getting pretty stiff over there.
Yeah, well, I don't like salty pretzels. So, and of course, we got Jim going to make his way over here, and we are live, and he's making his way.
Okay, I'm going to be doing video, so if she wants to get on the mic too, she can use my headset.
Okay. All right. So Okay. So Jim is still preparing for his debut on SpaceboyUniverse.com.
Is she
and
solving, or do we need to?
Okay. And we're getting all set up, and just that's the magic of live, is that. So how are you, Jim?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Yeah, it's going to be a fun event. We're going to try something unique and different here with a student, Lori, from the Paradox FRC robotics team from Pearland, Texas. Do we have a microphone for
Well, it's kind of
Lori?
over here. If Lori wants to jump right over here on this side.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
So we're going to do something kind of unique I've never done on a podcast before. We have tried to solve a puzzle on a podcast before, but I've never put a puzzle in front of someone for the very first time live on a podcast to see what their initial reaction is. So I'm kind of anxious to see that. Lori, you've not seen these before, right?
I don't think so, no.
Go ahead and put your headphones on.
Okay, so...
Hear everything okay?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So as we get going on with the interview, we'll just put this in front of Lori and let her open it up. And we don't have a professional sticker on top of that one. That's a prototype. But the puzzle is exactly what we sell, so she can get a feel of what the real puzzle is, even if the package isn't quite there.
Okay.
And here comes puzzometry. We've got a prototype of what we call puzzometry squares. We've got 3 different models, and squares is one of those. And so, Lori, go ahead and kind of narrate what you're experiencing for the first time.
So, the box needs to be more colorful. That's all I have to say.
Indeed, it is a prototype box. Fair enough.
So, there's lots of pieces that are different shapes that I probably will have to put together in a certain way. Figure out how to put them together.
Now, Jim, I noticed that the ones that we saw earlier were clear acrylic.
That's right.
Now, is this just another one? Is this just the prototype, or is this part of that where you can get it clear or dark like this?
So what we've got here is the exact same design that we call puzzometry squares, but it is a prototype material. So this is out of a new material, but it's no different design as far as shape and the number of pieces and all. It's the exact same design that we sell. But this is out of a smoky, somewhat translucent, smoky acrylic material. But you're right, we generally sell the clear acrylic. So Lori's just kind of had the opportunity here to play with this model. This is the first one we've had out in the wild, actually, of this color. So
I mean, it's I don't know. I think I would probably have just as hard time with this as I would the other one. I mean, as far as trying to get it all together. Especially with it being so dark. Well, I mean, I guess you could go either way. If the clear one, when we were looking at it too, it would seem like it was a challenge.
Yeah, no question. They are very difficult. Lori, hold one of those up to the light, and you can see through them. Even though on the table they look dark, but they're kind of smoky when you look through them. But yeah, I don't think the color has much to do with the difficulty. I think it's purely an aesthetics thing. But
yeah, because that's what I think I was going to get at. Is the color kind of make it more difficult or not? Or
I would guess no, but again, we don't have any of these out in the wild. This is the very first one we've had out in public, so this is just kind of a new material that we're kind of playing with at this point. It's all an engineering process, right? So I'm not a toy manufacturer by any means. This is really nothing more than a big grandiose engineering experiment, and it's been a fun ride.
So let's get into we talked to your young man yesterday. Cameron, that's right. And we had a good time with him.
Cameron's a superstar.
Yeah,
I really like him.
He is awesome. And he's definitely a keeper for whatever future endeavors you have. I mean, he's definitely a smart whippersnapper. But tell us from your perspective the evolution of how you got to this and where you're at now.
Yeah, and I'm going to back up a little bit on that question and kind of wrap Lori into this as well. So Lori is a student at the First Robotics team in Pearland, Texas, a new team, Team 5414. This is coming up on their third season. I've been involved in First Robotics as a mentor for going on 17 years, so I've done this for way too long, it seems. It's a heck of a fun ride, though. It's a lot of fun. But the nerd in me, the engineer in me, I'm an electrical engineer by profession, but the nerd and the engineer in me really enjoys this technology stuff. And this whole Maker Faire is all about that, the new technology coming along or how we can apply new ways to old technology. So anyway, several years ago, I came across a laser cutter for the very first time. And I just kind of got thinking, man, what kind of cool things can we do with this new tool? And of the several ideas that I had, this is one of them that stuck, what became piezometry. So I kind of just started playing around with different ideas and different things that I can cut with a laser cutter. And this is maybe the third or fourth generation of what originally started out as a laser cut puzzle. And we kind of went from there. In 2014, I put it on Kickstarter and learned a ton about Kickstarter, had a heck of a fun time there and learned a lot. And it got funded at $21,000 and on a $500 goal. So it was severely overfunded, which is a really good problem to have.
Yeah, those are good problems to have.
It was definitely a problem, though. As a one-man show, to fulfill 1,200 puzzle orders and to ship them all over the country, I think we shipped to 22 different countries or 21 different countries. That was a ton of work, but it was fun. I learned a lot. And from out of that, we got a real product. In fact, we've got 3 products now. We've got 3 different models of the puzzles out on the market, and it's been a heck of a ride to go from zero to getting products patented and trademarked and getting products on the market.
So how are you doing over there, dear?
I don't think I'm doing well.
Can you describe some of the challenge you've encountered here in the last few minutes?
So a lot of these pieces fit together, and it feels like if I had more of like a same piece, I would do better, but it's just hard because there's so many different shapes and sizes. It's just like, oh, look, I could just put 2 shapes in there, but I could also use that shape over here, but I want to use it over there. Okay.
Now, once again, going back to some of the questions I asked yesterday was that, when you look at this puzzle, you had a bit on the clear acrylic is what we were looking at. One of the disadvantages of the puzzles is that when you do a normal puzzle, like with the cardboard kind, you let's say you're doing a puzzle of penguins or birds or something, you get some geometric shapes that are on the boards, and so you could say, okay, this actually is this part of the curve, and kind of make your way through it. But this really doesn't give you an advantage because as she's describing, if you had just a few more shapes of that, you could make it across, but you have everything you need right there. It's just a matter of putting it in the right place.
Yeah, you're right. A typical jigsaw puzzle, you have a lot of visual clues as far as assembling a picture. And this one, it's not. It's a bit more of I guess you can call it a fault tree analysis. You start in one corner maybe and put a piece in, and maybe it fits, and you continue working until you find where you're at a roadblock, and you back up and you try another branch. Absolutely. For those that are listening as opposed to watching, we've also got a camcorder here recording this, and so certainly that'll be on YouTube. We'll hear about the link of that later. But in the meantime, can we get the camera to zoom in on the Paradox logo on Lori's shirt so we can get a little promo for the Team Paradox?
Well, let's briefly talk about that. Do you know, what can you tell us about that team?
So
Paraland.
Yeah, I'll let Lori talk about her team. But
I can talk about it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't want to assume that juggling and chewing gum and all that at the same time.
I really think I could restart this and do it over and over again, trying to figure it out. So I can just make my hands move while I talk.
Okay, so tell us, give us the 411.
So FRC, which is what league my robotics team is a part of, is it's just an organization that sends out new games every year. We have 6 weeks to build a robot to fit the requirements of that game to score points. And so we build a robot to fit those requirements. It's a lot easier than this, but it costs a lot more. It's a lot of fun. You get to build friendships with your team members. You get to hang out. You get to have food, which is pretty awesome as a teenager. So the game this year was a castle game, and you were supposed to shoot this ball into a high goal or a low goal. And so our robot is a low goal shooter, and we just shoot low goals and go over defenses to get points. And we did pretty well. We got some awards. So I was like, yay, awards.
Yeah, that's right, Laura. Good job, and thank you for promoting not only your team, but FIRST in general. FIRST is a international, primarily United States, but there's definitely a lot of international teams, an international robotics competition with the goal to help promote science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and try to get students like Lori into those fields and into those careers. It's been going on since mid-90s. I forget the founding year, 93, 94, somewhere around in there. I've been involved since 2001, mentoring for various teams. I'm now on my third team in Baytown, Texas, the Blargle Fish, a very unique name. But it's a really fun program for engineer types like me to come back and give back to the community and help students. If there's anyone out there listening that enjoys that kind of thing, find a local school near you and go help them. They definitely can use your expertise. But it's an excellent hands-on program. We're trying to get hands-on engineering with the young students and getting community engineers to work side by side with students to give them a sense of what real-world engineering is all about. So it's an excellent program. I've been involved forever, and I don't see a time when I'm not involved in that.
Well, good. What do you? How is this? Explain some of the reactions you've gotten with this product. For example, I'm sure you've gotten many people stop by your booth, and tell us some of the reactions you've gotten.
Yeah, our booth has been very full, and we've seen that at the various shows we've gone to over the last few years. Yesterday, when I was coming over and talking to you guys prior to one of the broadcasts that Cameron did, I stepped away from the booth a little bit, and I come back, and Cameron was holding court there with about 30 students in front of the booth. The booth was totally full, and he was giving a few-minute explanation of what we're doing. The booth is always full, and we've got 8 or 9 chairs there in front of the booth. People are sitting down trying to solve these puzzles. A few are buying. But it's fun for every demographic, young boys, young girls, old men, old women, everything in between. It's been a fun ride to watch the people interact with this product. I mean, certainly it's fun to sell it and get it to market as well, but it is kind of a neat environment here to have people wandering by and really enjoying your product. And we on occasion we have people sit down at the booth for 2 or 3 hours and play these things. They pay their entry fee to this event and they spend half the day at our booth. That's both good and bad.
Well, I mean, good on your end in the sense that you've created a product that obviously has some staying power, and people were just engrossed and want to solve a puzzle. Who doesn't want to solve a puzzle? I mean,
that's right.
It's kind of like we love solving mysteries, and puzzles would be right into that. And something and forgive me if it seems I guess not correct, but. Something very basic, something very simple that can provide an extreme amount of pleasure and time to be a part of is when you can break something down that basic, that's really something special.
Yeah, well, I kind of both joke and serious with a lot of our customers that this is among the few products that kids can get involved with now that does not require batteries. There's no touchscreen, there's no batteries, there's no joysticks, but yeah, people kind of sit down and play with it for quite a long time. One other thing I'd like to mention is that we've, on the Kickstarter, we sold about 1,200 or so of these on Kickstarter, and we've sold a couple thousand since then. We're probably pushing somewhere close to 3,000 of these sold in the last 2 years, since late 2014. And it's been me literally touching every single piece, boxing them up, bagging them up. And so we're looking for a manufacturing partner and perhaps even someone that could license them out and take over the production and manufacturing and distribution of them. So we're kind of looking to that. We've found a few connections here at this event here at the Maker Faire here in Houston. And we're kind of looking to explore that because I'm, with my involvement in not only my work, but with the robotic stuff that I do, it's hard for me to scale this up any further. I'm out of me.
You've extended yourself as far as you can, huh?
Yeah, and I've got a couple other ideas in the queue that I'm kind of anxious to get piezometry, keep it alive but hand it off to someone else, and then kind of move on to some new ideas and see what we can do with those. It's been a heck of a ride.
How are you doing over there? Feel like you're getting close?
No. I bet there's a way to do this, like a system.
You seem like you've gotten more on the board than you did before.
Yeah. Here, let's just put that there. Just melt it down and fit it in there, you know.
So these puzzles are about, I forget the exact dimensions on those, but I think the size she's got is about 5.5 inches by 7.5 inches. It's all, this one's called piezometry squares because all of the pieces are square and rectangular based. Mm-hmm. Some of the others we've got are octagon based. But just trying to fit all of the pieces inside the frame in a way such that there's no gaps and it becomes a solid piece of plastic once again.
Now, you had mentioned that you had developed a larger one, and you had some concerns there. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so actually the very first laser cut puzzle that I made, I don't remember what year that was, must have been 2004, 2005, I don't know, it's been a long time. I didn't quite understand what the limits of a laser cutter was. I was kind of learning how to make use of these things. So I made a puzzle kind of in the same vein as these, but it was much bigger, maybe twice the size, maybe 3 times the size. And the shapes, instead of being squares and rectangles and octagons, was circles. And so it's hard to describe that shape here on air, but circles and then trying to tessellate circles. There was a lot of pointy edges on that. That sounds weird to have circles with pointy edges, but the way they tessellate, there were a lot of pointy things. So I figured that was too sharp for kids to be playing with. Mm-hmm. Also, with it being much larger, it had more pieces, and it just became absolutely crazy, ridiculous, difficult. So I realized, all right, so we've got to solve the sharp edges thing, and we've got to make it at least approachable as far as difficulty. And a few generations later, we have what is in front of us now. So it's been a neat trial and error process, and virtually every step of the way has been that. Learning how to ship out 1,200 of these things within a couple of weeks. How do you handle the logistics of that? How do you go and buy $2,000 or $3,000 worth of acrylic and deliver it to the laser shop? How does the laser shop get ready for producing this many things? Every step of the way has been real world problem solving, real world engineering. I encourage any and all students and adults to find an idea, whether it's a good idea, a bad idea, get it on Kickstarter. Get it on some venue like that where you can actually get real-world experience of bringing a product to market. And if it never does anything more than just get to market and then dies, you've learned a ton. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an absolutely great experience to learn business, to learn all aspects of that. There's no other place like it.
Well, I can agree on that sense of when it comes to Spaceboy Universe, it's been a learning process. With the live casting and getting messages out and. But it's fun. It's a learning. When it comes down to it, is learning, and that's what we're about. And it's great to see that here at Maker Faire. And so I propose the question to you is, what is Maker to you?
Maker Faire is celebrating the creativity that I think all of us, to some extent or another, we have inside of us. And how do you exhibit that creativity? Some people are writers and they're excellent writers. Some people are maybe not so good at it, but they enjoy it. That's still all in the maker spirit. Some of us are creators as far as making hardware. Some of us like to make software. Make podcasts. There's all different kinds of forms of creativity. And the Maker Fairs all throughout the country, there's a ton of them all throughout the country. Virtually every weekend there's one somewhere in the country. Mm-hmm. And it's all about celebrating all of that creativity and all that creative spirit and entrepreneurship in all of us. And it seems like that just in the last decade or maybe two, there's a lot more venues in society to be able to take those ideas and run with them. 50 years ago, it probably wasn't so much of that, but now here in the last 10 or 15 years, there's absolutely plenty of ways to have a creative idea and get it to market. Kickstarter is one. There's a ton of different competitors to Kickstarter, but with all the maker fairs and the maker magazines and all the maker spaces in the areas, there's just a ton of ways to get your idea, get it out on market, see if it works. If it doesn't work, well, guess what? You learned. If it does work, well, you've got a product. And yeah, the whole maker movement is amazing, and it's changing the culture, and it's very much doing it step in step with what we're doing with First Robotics. We're out to try to change the culture.
I know that it's been very important to me when my nieces were young, that I wanted to emphasize for them, especially when it comes to STEM, that they can do anything they want to do. I mean, and back when I was much younger, growing up through the 70s, there was this perception of girls did this, boys did this, and so it kind of, I wanted to make sure my nieces know that you can do anything. You don't have to stay home and be just a wife kind of situation. If you want to go out and study engineering and study math and sciences, that world is open for you. So now we have today, and it warms my heart to see young women such as the lady trying to work your puzzle out, out there doing the robotics, doing the engineering, doing the science. And it really gives me a hope for the future that anything is possible for these young ladies.
Yeah, no question. We've got a lot of girls plugged into First Robotics and many of the other programs in the schools. But I also know firsthand there's been a couple other my coworkers at NASA, women that are mentoring teams in the area. And one of them I asked a couple years ago, really what is the root cause of you want to participate? And the answer was that I want to get more girls into engineering like she was. Mm-hmm. And so that those provide really good role models. A 16-year-old girl can look up to a professional engineer woman that's working with them in the schools and say, hey, that's something I aspire to be. So that's definitely a big part of it. And there's a lot of activity in First Robotics specifically trying to target getting more girls into STEM. And there's some awards specifically for that. And it is definitely good to get a more diverse base for the engineering. Go ahead, Lori. What you got?
So there are some teams that are purely based on Girl Scouts or private schools that are just female private schools, and it's really cool to see them because they're just there.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, they're all girls.
The Ironclad team here in Houston from the Duchesne Academy is one of those. There's a couple of Girl Scout teams over in the Austin area as well. Absolutely, all girls teams are, and those teams are, some of them do absolutely amazing every year. They're always above average on performance. I know one of those teams is that virtually every single part on the robot was cut and drilled and machined by the girls on the team. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason why girls and women can't be every bit as good as the guys in this stuff.
We went to the Texas Robotics Invitational not too long ago.
Very good event.
Yes, a very good event. And one of the things that Surlana and I were just so impressed was the young women there, but some of the young women being leads in the team. And, we did the interviews with them, and we did one with Girl Scouts, and that they were part of the team. But it was just amazing. Well, and I have to say, in all fairness, that all the young women and men that participate in that is that they're clearly focused, they are mature, they can convey. You don't feel like you're talking to somebody that may be that young. And I'm not trying to give the young a discredit. And she smiles over. I'm just saying that it's refreshing that you have young women and men out there that are capable of articulating and conveying things on a higher level.
No question. And so part of what we're doing with First Robotics is that at the very top level, you think of, it's an engineering competition, which is good in itself. But it is not. It's a full circle, real-world experience. So we're trying to teach and promote that articulation of your ideas and communications. We're trying to promote the business plan it takes to organize a team and to organize a business. So there's so many aspects of it that we run out of people willing and able to teach those skills, but there's so many aspects of First that is so diversified. And we have a lot of students on our team that really readily admit we don't have any interest in turning wrenches, but we find a home for them on the team doing the webpage design or doing the Spirit or doing the chairman's type awards where they're going out and trying to sell the aspects of the team. So there's such a wide range of skills and talents that we're trying to train and promote there in these programs.
Yes, indeed. So tell me a little bit, you got a bright future ahead of yourself. What are some of your plans that you want to accomplish or head toward? I mean, besides solving this puzzle, which I know you've gone through 4 or 5 different, resets, but tell me about what you see for the future for yourself.
So for like college-wise, I'm not really sure because it's going to seem very unrealistic, but I want to be a YouTuber and an artist. Mm-hmm. Both can be very low-paying jobs when you start out because I've heard that the first 5 years that you're an artist, you expect to be living on ramen noodle soup. And same with college. So that, I think it's going to be really hard for me. Even though I like robotics, I don't see myself doing it as a job. I love it, but I just see myself doing art stuff. I love art. Art is my life.
Yeah, if you think of companies like Apple, Apple's the one that comes to mind, but there's many others. But, Apple, for instance, develops really good, high-quality, functioning products, but they would not sell anywhere close to what they did if they didn't look beautiful.
Right.
So art is a huge part of engineering. So we can have the finger quote nerdy engineers, but you've also got to have the artistic.
For logos and stuff,
yeah,
I have to help
absolutely.
make those. I help make T-shirts. I help design the robot. Help make the web page. I help make the banners. I help make the everything. Yeah. That's creative.
So we measure the success of FIRST by how many students do we churn out. Sometimes you don't see that result till 5 or 10 or 12 years down the road. That a student we work with is now working for Dell in Austin or something, right? So you sometimes don't get the immediate feedback that you may want. You don't hear a week later that you were successful, but you do several years later. But some of the best successes we've had over the years, it kind of sounds weird, but those that we have scared away from engineering. So they're on the robotics team for a year or two, and they try it out, and they think, well, I tried it out, and well, for me, that sucks. I want to be an economist or something. And that's fine. That's good data. Right? So we're out trying to promote science and technology and engineering. But if we have students that are trying that and they learn that that's not for them, but I found my new thing, that saves how many years of college and how many thousands of dollars.
Most definitely.
So
it helps them get them on their path that they felt like they were meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are valuable wins as well, even though it's a kind of an indirect win. It's absolutely valuable.
Yeah, I will admit I wished I knew what I wanted to do early on in my 20s, but I took many roads, and here I am, and it is what it is. So Yeah,
but I work as an electrical engineer at the Johnson Space Center, so that's my primary gig, if you will. But doing these little creative things, working with robotics is good. Doing the puzzles, bringing those to life is good, and the diversity is a good thing. So I encourage whoever wants to find whatever career path that can help them pay the bills and help them find a livelihood, but go out and do some goofy things and try something unique and different, and
Well, I definitely did some goofy things back in my 20s, but and my parents and my grandparents would definitely say I'm glad he's still around. So, but it, like I said, I'm all about the knowledge, and when it comes to the knowledge, just making sure that the kids these days are just. She's a bright example of what the possibility of the future could be.
No question. Hey, let's turn the question around to you. So you've been doing a podcast here, or a broadcast here most of the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. Here we are at 2:48 on Sunday. The event's almost over. We close at 5. What has the Maker Faire, not only this event, but the Maker Faire movement meant to you?
Well, for me, it always comes back to see the possibility of creation. For me, I always imagine a blank room, just completely pitch black. And then the idea of a light that kind of sparks, and then from there a universe, kind of like a Big Bang, if you will. So the creation, or to be able to take that creation and create a universe, and then take that which is in your head, and to make it and to build it, to create, whether it be artistic, mechanically, any kind of direction like that. And then of course, it's always coming back to me in the sense of when I see all the young kids here. Because I've always been the one. I built a volcano when I was in school and made it explode with certain chemicals, and so I loved doing the science fairs and all that. So when I see young kids come in and they get amazed by the robots competing against each other, or to being able to sew, there's some sewing there. It's great to see a thirst for knowledge in the youth. And I guess I'm getting to that age where I'm getting the old wise man, and I'm looking down at
we need to find a robotics team you can adopt into then. Lori's shaking her head. She likes the idea.
Yeah. So, but that's what it means to me, is the beginning of a single point in a blank room, and then taking that, once it expands in your mind and you've got an idea, to take it into the physical world. And so, yeah.
I'm surprised. I work as an engineer at the Space Center down there, and I asked some of my coworkers this past week, hey, come on down to the Maker Faire and check it out. And I was surprised at how many engineers said, well, what is a Maker Faire? So we've got to fight that problem as well, more or less call it brand awareness, if you will. But for those that are listening that aren't quite in tune with what a Maker Faire is, let's just kind of rattle off the list of things that are here. There's a ton of 3D printers. There's laser cutters. There's electronics. There's Raspberry Pi things, the small little programmable computers. There's a whole big gaggle of Lego booths, so kids can interact with the Legos and build things and create there. There is, electric car conversions. There's friends walking by. There's waving at one of my buddies. There's electric car conversion here, an old Toyota Supra that's been converted to an electric car. Mm-hmm. There's the whole mini house movement. There's a trailer here that serves as a little home. What am I missing? There's the recyclable water.
Right.
There's showing how to collect rainwater. Lori, what you got?
The virtual reality thing.
Yes, virtual
really
reality.
Virtual reality is
That's
here.
good.
Yes.
EPO, one of the kind of the standbys of electronics, is here.
Soaps,
Soaps, jewelry,
yeah.
the more traditional crafts kind of things. There's a lot of those kind of booths. Let's see. General, just say again.
Yeah, Steam. Yeah.
Steam, yeah, plenty of Steam. And in fact, seen even a few Steamworks or a steampunk kind of outfits. So that's kind of good. Looking around, there's more kind of laser cut wood and laser engraved wood crafts. Mm-hmm. What am I missing? There's about 150 booths here.
And then, of course, if you want to pursue that education, we've got HCC is here, Houston Community College.
The University of Houston School of Design and Architecture is here. Mm-hmm. They've got a booth. There's this little puzzle booth. I know about that one.
I wonder which one that could be.
Puzzometry.com.
Yeah, excellent.
Hey, so the name, when I came up with that, I came up with the idea, and I started thinking, well, how do I brand this? How do I put a name on it? And I just started brainstorming goofy, crazy ideas. And I don't know, the 737th idea was Puzzometry. And I put it into Google, and it came back with exactly 0 results.
That's usually a good sign.
Yes, Google was totally stumped by Puzzometry, and I was like, aha, that's it. That's got to be it. So now if you Google Puzzometry, like a merging of puzzle and geometry, Puzzometry, if you merge that, every single result is me. It's either on Twitter or on Facebook or the blog or whatever the case may be. But I found that kind of funny. As soon as I typed it in, and it's like, Google has nothing. It's like, man, I found the name. So that is now a trademark name. So
that's kind of like us for Spaceboy Universe. Usually you'll get Spaceboy Universe or Spaceboy Music, which is my other endeavor. But then you also get Smashing Pumpkins for Spaceboy, and then you also get David Bowie for Hello Spaceboy for the song he did. But nobody had really this, so we got lucky on that and got the domain name off of it. And so, yeah, but as far as your name, that must have been just a great way to say, okay, I got a name that nobody else has.
Yeah, so there is a problem with it, though, is that people don't quite know how to pronounce it sometimes. We have Puzzometry, Puzzometry, so there's all kinds of variations of perhaps incorrect pronunciation. So I made a little thing at the booth about that, a sign of 20 different ways to say, and some of them are just downright silly and goofy of ways to pronounce it, but it's a kind of a way to educate the audience of how to properly pronounce Puzzometry. But it's just merge of geometry, which all these shapes are geometric based, and then puzzle. So Puzzometry, puzzle, and geometry.
Well, it is definitely cool, Jim. And how...
It comes with all the parts of the bag and no solution.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, so the Lori pointed out that the box that I gave her, I wanted to put it in some kind of a form so she didn't see it until we got on the air. But yeah, the box that it comes in is a very plain box. I don't have a label on the one that she has, but we have a professionally designed label on the boxes that we sell. Inside of that is a small velvet bag with all 14 pieces, and the frame, and then a short instruction sheet to describe the purpose of the game, how to play it. But there is no solution. When I was on Kickstarter and I was ready to ship them out, I put a survey out to my backers. I had, 500 or 600 backers. And 80% said, no, we do not want you to ship them with a solution. So I've kind of maintained that. So as far as I can tell, there is no...
They'll assimilate it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been a heck of a fun ride though, and thanks to Spaceboy University here, you're one of several podcasts originating here in the Houston area. There's a ton of them in all different kind of genres. There's podcasts is becoming a new kind of hip, trendy way to do radio or radio type broadcast. Talk a little bit about that adventure. How did you go from maybe never knowing anything about broadcast to now having a podcast, and how does that process go?
Well, before I can even get to the casting part, I had to go back to when I started doing music back in the late 90s. And so I've been doing Spaceboy music for the past, I guess, since 1990 or 1998-ish. And so I've done about 19 albums worth of music that's out there on the internet and Amazon, iTunes, and all that. You can get to it. But at a point, I kind of like with you, I was like, I've been doing this for a long time, and I would like to do something different. And I was just at that point. And, Surlana will tell you that I was ready to bury Spaceboy altogether and then go off into a new tangent. Well, I had gotten connected to a radio show on a network and got an opportunity to see him a couple times in person. And I was like, I could probably do that. I pretty much have all the equipment, because, music and all that. And I think, and so I guess it was a year where I processed it in my mind, like, okay, how would I do this? How would I do that? So I did the researching point. Where I went out in the universe and found how I could do it. And so a year after that, I kind of was ready to start doing it on YouTube. We were going to do a YouTube Live kind of thing. And I kind of suckered my wife into this, but because she doesn't like really being the public person, she likes to be the... But I managed to get her kind of like, yeah, we're just going to record these. Yeah, I tricked her in. So
trickery always works.
So from that point on, it would just kind of... I did baby steps, and we did... When we would make a mistake, learn from them, and go out on the internet, see how other people were doing it, and then here you go. This is like our first live event, cool. And so we've been really excited this weekend, and we've been at it for a little over a year now.
Very cool. I've back in a previous life, I worked radio as well, and I can appreciate there's a certain fun about doing this and broadcasting, and it's kind of a neat thing. But I've never ventured into the podcasting. But I've been on a few podcasts for Posometry mostly. But yeah, it's kind of a neat new venue, and for whatever reason, radio itself has kind of fallen out of favor. It seems the ratings have gone down a bit, but podcast seems to have be filling in the gaps of that. So.
Well, the excitement with this technology now is that before with radio it was very local. And now you have a potential to reach a global audience. And, we have many followers on our show that are from Australia, even Russia. I mean, the extremes are, from left to right. We even had a guy that was down in Antarctica that chimed in with us one time. And so it's really cool. So you never know what's going to happen. And then plus, there's been a couple of shows that we've done where we were talking about a subject matter, and we get a call in from somebody, and it was like, wow, I can't believe that person was listening and called in. So nice. It's a very exciting time to do this kind of thing, and you don't have to be a big radio station to do it now.
That's right.
Anybody can do it from basically the comfort of a convention center like this, and as long as you have an internet connection, the world is your oyster.
Indeed, yeah. You mentioned Antarctica. I've got a friend, a former coworker, who's now retired from his normal job, and he's actually in Antarctica right now doing some satellite ground station support. And I told him a few weeks ago in an email that, hey, I'm going to send a Posometry down to you, so we'll have one down on the South Pole.
That'll at least keep them busy for a while, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's a lot of neat work they're doing down there. Speaking of work, Lori, how you doing?
More of a challenge than you thought?
Come back to me in 10 years.
So just to let everyone know, I kind of intentionally picked one of the hardest ones we've got for this experiment.
Uh-oh.
So nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. One of the other ones we've got that is on a previous podcast, we had a person trying to solve it real time. It's called Posometry Junior. It's a smaller one, about half that size, with 7 pieces. And generally people solve that one in about 5 to 15 minutes or so, and that podcast segment was about 18 minutes. The guy didn't manage to get it solved during that broadcast, but generally it's 5 to 15 minute puzzle. These two bigger ones, the original Piezometry and Piezometry Squares, which is what Lori's working on, those get to be very difficult. We can have people spend a couple hours on them before they get to the solution on those.
At least that makes me feel better.
Yeah, no, you're doing fine. But it's are you describing it as a kind of a frustration process? Or is it fun? Is it relaxing?
I find it relaxing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not frustrating because you're like, oh, I know that other people probably wouldn't be able to do this in like 5 minutes. So it's like, okay, I can just take my time. There's no one to beat. It's just me and the puzzle.
Yeah, I've had some weird experiences with this. A coworker a few years ago took one with her to visit one of her friends. They left it on the kitchen table. That friend's mother was kind of in the late stages of Alzheimer's. She wasn't doing so well as far as Alzheimer's development process goes. She was getting kind of toward the late stages. But they left the puzzle on the kitchen table, and then coworker and friend just went off and ran errands and went and had dinner or whatever. But they come back 6 hours later, and mother with Alzheimer's has been working with this puzzle for 6 hours straight, and it just kept her mind focused on doing that on the kitchen table. And they were kind of amazed that she was able to just kind of zone into that. So I've seen that before with that, and I've also seen teachers tell me the same thing happens with autistic students. So I have no idea how to kind of quantify that or tap into that market, or even if I want to. But it's an interesting little side story that these things somehow are relaxing and captivating and addictive all at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of like becoming zen with the puzzle, you know.
Yes.
And I like that. I know that at some point I get a little frustrated, but I know I'd come back to it because, you know, I want to solve that thing, you know. And it's a great product, Jim. And so once again, let's remind the audience about, you know, how they can find you and how to get in touch with you as far as getting the puzzle and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Piezometry.com. That's Puzzometry. So merged puzzle and geometry, and you get Piezometry. Piezometry.com. We're also on Twitter at Piezometry. We're also on Facebook, so search for Piezometry there, and you'll find our page. I live down in the Clear Lake area and sell them at a couple shows per year, this one, and then Comic Palooza in July, and every now and then I'll set up at Dickens on the Strand down in Galveston. So I do a few shows per year, but mostly I'm selling them online and through these shows, and it's been a fun ride.
Well, indeed it is. Well, we appreciate you coming on the Universe, both of y'all, and we look forward to seeing you in the future as far as your projects are concerned, and also keep in touch with us, and we'd love to toot the horn for you and get the product out for you.
Very good. Thank you for hosting us. And I got to give one more shout out to First Robotics. So if you're out there and you're kind of the engineering nerdy type like us and you like to get your hands on hardware, please go find a team near you and help. You know, mentor some of the young students. There's all kinds of ways to help, either mechanical help or software, or heck, even cooking lunches for the students on Saturdays when they're at the school.
Food is good.
Food is good.
Oh, I'll agree to that.
But find a way to plug in. Find a local school near you that has a team and plug in and help them. They'll appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll be surprised at how much you get good feedback from that, and you'll start to appreciate it as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you all, guys. I appreciate y'all stopping by in the Universe, and we look forward to the future to y'all.
Cool. Thank you.
Here,
all right.
You try it.
Hey, Space Cadets. Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe. This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there. This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey,
This is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Laura Elijah Neal. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 713-701-5214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, we're back. Surlana.
Yes.
Apparently K28 missed you. You felt like I was hogging the program.
We'll be back during our regular Saturday nights, and it'll be all flip-flopped again.
Yeah, it'll be all K28-centric. So we got our next guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Charlie Lindahl. I've been a maker for a number of years and a programmer and geek, and it's really fun to be in the age of geek.
It is indeed. It is. I hear you. I love the age that we live in because, it's amazing that, when we were kids, we dreamt about, things, like Star Wars, more movies and stuff like that, and geek culture. But even, stuff from Star Trek, we would hope that, like things from that would be developed and, we'd have flip phones and all that good stuff. And as I'm sure you're probably in tune with that as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a wonderful time to be a nerd and a geek. So.
Oh, yes. We're heroes. It's great.
So what do you bring to the Spaceboy universe? Talk about your projects and let's get to know you.
Good. Okay. Well, first of all, let's see. I've been on the internet since 1981.
Okay.
And so I've been in this environment for a long time, and trying to explain to people what it was, even to send email in the 80s was kind of a confusing thing to do. So I'm very plugged into that. I'm an information sponge. And of course, with all the stuff that's out there, it's really wonderful. It's just a never-ending stream. And I also do my part in terms of spreading it around. My favorite title, which I have on a business card, is Chief Nodist, Nodeist. What that means is you're a node, I'm a node, I connect nodes. That's my official title, and that's one I'm sticking with, and I'm hoping I'll be able to use it.
Well, if nobody else is using it, it sounds like a great title.
Yeah. Well, so far as I can tell, there's nobody else trying to use it, and I'm pushing it, and hopefully I'll be credited with helping to have originated it. But anyway, so I love information. I love talking to people. As far as technologies, I've been involved in everything from mainframes down to micros. My current interest is in wearables, as you can tell from the hat that I have here. which you can't see, I know, on the radio.
We'll have pictures here.
Yeah, you'll have pictures. And basically, it's a walking billboard. So I can put something on my Bluetooth and put it on the hat and show it. And I've taken it to several different conferences and gotten a lot of oohs and ahs. And I'm hoping to work a lot with particularly with artists, to have different ways of doing it. And the technology is very accessible and very easy to get, and it's not hard to program, at least not for us, but I can teach it. And that's the other thing I love, is I'm very involved with the maker movement here in Houston.
Oh, good. Now, I noticed someone, you showed me a video before we came back from the commercial break, and how the hat you can display messages. Yeah. Now, I did see someone earlier, and I don't know if you're connected to this or not. They had like a badge.
Yes.
And that was really cool. Is that part of your?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us.
Okay.
About
Well, the general technology is you have LEDs, and then you have Arduinos or Raspberry Pis, but mostly Arduinos, the small computers, small micros, that are, in this case, the one I've gotten here is, I think, $10. I mean, so, absolutely nothing. Free open source software that runs on everything. The libraries are pretty good. And so, as you mentioned, you can use it in hats, you can use it in badges. I saw a guy that had one on the back of his backpack. The guy was just walking by on his bike is having it for that, and he's using that same technology, those same LEDs, to do light type stuff. So there are all kinds of applications for this. So
you mentioned Raspberry.
Yes.
So tell us about that technology. It's something that's fairly new along these. In the sense that we haven't had something that small prior to 2 or 3 years ago.
I think that's actually about 5 years old.
About 5 years old. Okay.
That it started.
Correct me.
Yes.
Tell me more about it, or tell my audience more.
Okay. Here's the deal. You'll hear in the maker world and in the small computer market, you'll hear two things: Arduinos and Raspberry Pis,
which I hear a lot of them.
And the main difference between them, and this is oversimplification, but it's a fairly good one, is Arduinos are meant to be single purpose.
Okay.
So you run my hat, or you run my display, or whatever. It's single purpose. You have a weather station that has sensors, single purpose. The Raspberry Pi is a general purpose computer, similar to your laptops.
Right.
So you can run Linux on it, which means you can run many programs at once. You can run databases, you can run web servers, you can run all that kind of stuff. You don't do that on an Arduino. So that's the main distinction, and there's a much richer programming environment and environments for making the Raspberry Pi do things, and a lot of them are drag and drop and so forth, so they're a lot easier to program on the whole.
And what has been your experience in creating devices for either one? I mean, you have the hat here, but tell us some of the other things you've developed and created.
Oh, let's see. One of my favorites is the use of it in a home media server. And there's plenty of stuff out there where I don't even have to program it. You do have to spend some time configuring it, deciding which channels you want and what movies you want, and setting up your home network to put your movies on, or your photos, or your audio, or whatever. It takes time to do that. But the actual process of having to quote-unquote program it, you literally just load some stuff up, click some GUIs, and you got your home media system.
Right.
So that's a very powerful thing. And the nice thing is, too, there's one called Kodi, is one of the main ones, Kodi. And you can not only do your own movies, your own music, and all that kind of stuff, but you can tie into the existing services like the Amazons, like the Pandoras, all that. And you can tie into the official broadcasting stuff. So NBC, ABC, CBS, you can get all of them have websites that have the various streaming. Yeah, the streaming stuff have the various shows, right? The current shows. You can get that on Kodi. You don't have to go out and buy a Roku or an Apple or what have you. You can just do it completely on that with open source, with the Raspberry Pis. And again, it takes time to set it up.
But I imagine once you get it all set up, it's pretty solid. Right?
And how would you go about figuring out how to do that? Is there a guide?
There are plenty of guides, and there are plenty of meetups, and people will do that. As a matter of fact, I've been talking to a friend of mine about starting a series of courses at local community colleges in continuing education to teach how do you use Roku, how do you set up Apple, what are the pieces that are available. And my friend is pretty jazzed about it. And I talked to Roku about it at South by, and they said, nobody's done that, do it. Let us know when you're ready. And I'm like, well, I do have a day job, so like a lot of us do.
Don't we all? Yes,
so,
we agree.
But if you look at the media server stuff, it's really, really amazing. And there's another system called, I'll remember it in a minute. But anyway, it's been around for a while, and it was designed to run on PCs, so it can run on Macs and Raspberry Pis. I lived with a hacker for a couple of years, and we could record 300 hours of TV in a week.
Wow.
We had 4 streaming channels coming off the cable, and we could record that much stuff because we had, multi-terabyte drives, and we had the fast pipes from that, and we could record anything that was being broadcast. One of my favorite examples of that, by the way, is watching soccer. And there are things in this system that you can't do on commercial systems. In this particular case, there were 2 things. One is when we watched a soccer game, and my roommate was a big soccer fan, he would record 90 minutes of soccer, and then we'd go and watch the game. And so the way we'd watch the game is to forward to the first score and then back it up for 5 minutes, and then go to the next score and back it up for 5 minutes. So we could watch a 90-minute soccer game in about 10 minutes because there's not very high stuff. The other thing that is a feature that I think is now starting to come out on Roku is you can increase the speed of the audio just slightly, 2%, 3%, where you can actually understand it.
Right.
Well, when you cut out the commercials and you speed it up, you can get a half-hour show in 10 minutes.
Wow.
And legibly, right? Or understandably. One funny thing that happened is there was one show that we had never watched anything except that, and I went to a regular TV and I heard the theme song of the show, and I went, that doesn't sound right. It's because I was used to hearing it sped up. Okay. And I was used to the tone of the announcers and stuff, and the voices didn't sound right, and it was just kind of fun there. Anyway, so media stuff. The other thing I'm fascinated in my day job is at the Health Science Center at Texas A&M as IT support, and the use of wearables and things with HealthBit and Fitbit and all that other kind of stuff. That's just exploding, and it's using the same technologies that I'm using in the hat or using in these other devices. And the notion, and there were several things this time that had, there was a great talk yesterday on building your own health monitoring systems. And they are actually selling kits that are $20, $30 that you can do things like monitor your blood pressure, monitor your glucose. And they're very, very simple devices, very inexpensive devices. They're not FDA approved, but they don't have to be because you're doing it for yourself.
Right.
So it's analogous to going out and buying, why go out and buy a $200 blood pressure monitor when you can build one for $20.
Right.
That it has as much accuracy, and then you can take that data and do whatever you want with it. Throw it up the cloud, do your own analysis of it. I mean, the do-it-yourself stuff is just off the wall.
I can imagine,
very
from a perspective of, going to the doctor, you bring that, hardcore data along,
yes.
And they can make better decisions than, having to, rely on sending you to a lab or giving you a $200 piece of equipment that,
Correct.
So I'm so intrigued by, hey, we can do it for less money and it'll be a great product, and it's just as good or maybe even better in some circumstances.
And the other side that's fascinating to me, and I'm seeing it as I don't teach there, I'm IT support, but I'm around the medical community and the doctors and stuff like that. And the crop of young doctors that are coming up are aware of this capability, and they're actually encouraging it. They're learning how that stuff works. So they will be able to be in a position where when their patients come in, they'll go, okay, buy this, buy this, buy this, and give me the data on a regular basis. So they're seeing the advantage of having this pipe of data to help their patients be healthier. And it's very encouraging to me that that's happening.
That is very encouraging.
Yeah.
So, as far as what does the future look like for you? I mean, it seems like you're pretty tapped into the technology part.
Yeah.
What does the technology future look to you?
Good and bad. The good is we're going to be able to do anything we want, and that's so we can monitor our own health. We can control our houses. We can control our environments and do wonderful things with in our cars. We can put we already have really incredible safety monitors that keep prevent things from happening. The bad side, unfortunately, is what happened 2 weeks ago with the internet leaving, like gone on the West Coast.
Right.
Because of the hacking, because of the fact that there is a tremendous risk, security risk to a lot of this stuff, not only from the standpoint of the things going down, but the privacy concerns. Oh, man. And we are already in an age, and as I say, I've been on the internet since 1981. Privacy does not exist.
Right.
If you put something out there, or even if you don't put something out directly, there is so much data about you that you've already put out. Case in point, which maybe a lot of people don't realize, every single photograph you take has a GPS monitor, has a GPS record of it, as well as what device it is and what time it is. So one thing I ran across was that burglars are looking at people's vacations photographs and saying, oh, they live in Texas and they're taking pictures in Hawaii. Guess what? Their house is open. Okay? That's just one tiny example of the kind of data that's leaking out that we don't realize is getting out there. The other thing that I find somewhat amusing is the young people that have been using Facebook for however long, 10 years, when they go to get jobs and they realize that their employers are looking at their Facebook streams to see what kind of people they are and what kind of stuff they're doing. There are companies that actually are evaluating employees based on what they did 10 years ago on Facebook. And double-edged sword. Either you're very careful about your data or you're not, and if you're not, you better understand that anytime you publish anything out there, it is out there forever. It is not
The internet is forever.
It is forever. So, as I say, mixed bag. What I'm hoping, and another thing I'm working with a group in South Houston, is that we're calling it the Digital Divide Project. We're trying to do as much as we can to be able to bring underprivileged areas that can't afford the type of equipment that's there to have access to it and to be able to see it. And we ran a program during the summer under a grant that exposed, I guess, 20 kids in a library to programming, 3D printing, drones, all that kind of stuff, and their response was fantastic. And the best part is that their parents were ecstatic about the fact that this was free and that they watched their kids light up. And one thing that I feel very strongly about is it's a great equalizer. If we can do this where we can just expose kids, no matter what their economic age or situation, if we can expose them to it, they are as capable as anyone. The economic and social aspects do not apply. If you can put the kids in the right environments where they can learn and get excited about it, they can accomplish the same miracles as those people that go to these high-end schools. And I'm very, very committed to doing that. So.
Well, that's great. So let me ask you another technical question.
Sure.
Since you've been in TAP for quite some time in computers and the net for me. Sure. What do you think is the future of AI?
I actually spent 10 years at TI in AI. And again, the short answer is double-edged sword. One of the things that's coming up is that the white-collar jobs are starting to get lost to automation as well as the mechanical. One other example is the impact that self-driving trucks will have on the economy. There are something like 100,000 truckers that have jobs right now. Those go away when automation happens. What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, let me be devil's advocate here. Sure. You know, when we had the horse and buggy and the car came along, I mean, isn't it just going to be an evolution of where people will have to do, you know, there's going to obviously be some people that get left behind,
sure.
but there will be people that will make that transition from
if they
to B.
If they can make the transition, which is why I was emphasizing education, and when I was saying education and lower sociological things, I'm not just restricting that to kids. If the parents and the adults have enough of a motivation to go and learn, they're capable too. And you can look at ARP, which is doing some interesting stuff. They have technology courses for over 60s, and they're getting a tremendous response.
That's great.
And when you think about it, there's another group called SCORES. Have you ever heard of them? They were founded in Fort Worth. It's a Society for Retired Executives. And what the program is they will level people, you know, vice presidents, presidents, CEOs, and so forth. They volunteer their time to work with startups for free and get the benefit of their experiences passed on to startups. And I think this kind of thing could be done and is being done in the technical world too. And I'm an example. I'm 61, okay, and I love working with younger kids, and they really respond to me because I speak their language. I still have that flexibility, and I appreciate what they do, and I love their curiosity, and I don't try and suppress it.
You know, speaking of education, you know, I got a chance to go back to college myself, and as a more mature man, you know, and so I was taking this one class, and the instructor was saying, who's 20, who's 30, and I like, man, do I really have to wait this long to raise my hand? So, but she got to the point where, you know, okay, anybody over 40, raise your hand.
Right.
And so there was like about 3 of us in class, and she said, now, she referred to all the younger generation, she said, now these are the people you have to worry about. Because these people have been there, and they know what's going on, and they're back to further their education to learn more. And so, I mean, you were bringing that up in the sense that you know, it's important that even you're never too old to learn. I mean, and especially in this time of age, you know, it's. I don't feel like, I hate to make it sound like I'm competing against millennials, but to some degree, you are. I mean, because millennials are really smart. I mean, they have it together, and in order to compete in an environment with them, you know, it's important to keep on, you know, the educational level and keep up with them, and I have found that to be very true.
Yes. Now, I will going back to your AI thing, the positive part about the AI is so much can be done. It's a thought amplifier. If you have AI, and they do exist, AI systems do exist that will help you to learn, that will help you to evaluate things and be able to digest massive amounts of data. If you learn how to use these tools, anyone, and again, any age, the capacity to be able to absorb and utilize new information is amplified tremendously by the AI stuff. It's absolutely incredible. The project I worked at TI was what they call a pilot backseat helper, basically, and we tied all the sensors into it, and basically it was designed such that the pilot's doing their thing, and there are a lot of missiles coming at them. The system goes, hey, wait a minute, there are a couple of missiles coming at you, you better pay attention to this. And given the amount of information that a pilot has to handle, to be able to interpret the fact that, hey, there's this missile coming, and it's coming here, and it's going to be here in 5 minutes, you may not be able to derive that just from the gauges you're seeing on that. Okay, that's one example. Again, the driving situation. We're getting, you know, as we get more and more smart cars, I love the fact that I have sensors around my car that I don't back into things, or I don't back over some kid that's accidentally in my driveway. It tells me that. So that's another aspect of the AI stuff.
And it's funny you bring up cars because I was I don't know exactly the article I was reading about what this one particular car they're trying to develop is, you've got cameras that you can see back and forward, but now they're talking about cameras that can, when you look in the car, you can see right through where the door is, and that is just mind blowing.
Yes. And
can I get another yes?
Yes. and the other thing I'll mention is the going back to the geeks being popular and science fiction seem to be having a resurgence. The kids are seeing this stuff and they're getting inspired, just like with the Star Trek stuff.
Right.
And things that are totally made up now. Some kid's going to look at it and go, I can do that. In 10 years, there will be a product. Okay, there will be something that does that, and it was totally the imagination of the science fiction author or the stage hand that did a shortcut or something like that, and they're like, we didn't really mean for that to be real, but okay.
But yeah, in a sense that when you look back at the original Star Trek show and you start looking at flip phones and floppy disk and and just various talking computers and it really kind of brings it home. Hey, the future has arrived. We don't have. Well, I can't say we don't quite have EM drive just yet, but although NASA has been kind of like experimenting with an EM drive right now, and so I mean the full 100% of what we had as kids could be pretty much just around the corner for us.
That's correct. Let me mention one other thing too about the positive technology aspects. I'm working on a project that maybe soon is going to be doing 3D printed houses.
Oh, okay.
And they already exist in China. There's a company in Russia that's going to be printing one on the 20th of November in Moscow. They could build an 800 square foot house of concrete in 24 hours.
Wow. I think I've seen a video from either it was the Chinese one or could have been, no, I think it was the China one that we saw. But why not? I mean, they're doing it with the different projects that we've seen here, and out of plastics and other particulates. But I've seen they're kind of experimenting with food.
Yes. The food printers. Yeah, that's going to be. Yeah, that's pretty
very
cool.
strange.
Yeah, it is strange, but cool. But I mean, they fancy restaurants designing these special plates that look like pieces of art, but it's all edible, and
wait a minute, let me just back up.
Okay.
The company that's here called Beehive, I'll go ahead and plug them here. They're doing an industrial strength 3D printer for food. They're based in we're out of I think they're out of Austin now, but they actually have a product, and they are actually going to be test driving. You'll be able to go out and buy a pizza that's 3D printed next month.
Oh, wow. And what was the name of the website again?
Beehive is the name of the company.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're a really good group, and they've been working with chefs, pizza chefs around the world, to come up with various formulations, and that's happening. Like I said, they said they're going to be actually testing it next month here in Texas, so you might want to look them up. And
we'll definitely have to. Who doesn't love pizza, by the way? So yeah.
As a geek, I could say yes. That's sort of a staple.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder if since we have the same Surlana and myself, where when we make pizza, she doesn't eat the crust, but I'll eat the crust. So it's a nice symbiotic relationship,
Good.
So
good.
I eat all the way to the crust, and I just stop, and then he.
So, but that makes
over.
makes me worried that if they can 3D print a pizza, she could order it without the crust, and I'm out of luck, So.
Well, then you order the crust version.
Yeah, breadsticks, I guess, right?
Breadsticks, whatever. Yeah.
Well, before we wrap it up, I just want to make sure that is there any websites or social media that if they're looking for you, they can go to and
sure. Look on ProtoMX is my home makerspace, and I'm into that. Another group is up in Bryan. It's called the Software Developers Cartel. They meet once a month, and we have a group of entrepreneurs and other things. Regular program. I'm pretty plugged into that one.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's in the College Station, Bryan area really ought to come and see this, because this is where entrepreneurs, professors, students, whole art community all meets together, and we have 3 or 4 presentations every month on tech, on art. One of my favorite ones was we had a gal come in who was a professional roller derby person, and she came in and did a wonderful talk on the joys of roller derby in Texas. So anyway, those are 2 of the biggest ones, Proto and Protomax, which is in Woodland Spring, by the way.
Okay.
And we're restarting. Unfortunately, we got kicked out of our current situation, but we're going to be in Montessori school for a couple months.
And then you were talking about that was a makerspace.
Yes, it is a makerspace.
Can you tell us
here.
what a makerspace is and why it's important? Because I think
Sure.
a lot of our listeners are not familiar with that concept.
Absolutely. Makerspaces are places where people get together to buy equipment that they couldn't afford individually, put them in a common space, and go and work together and build things. And the things can be furniture, cars, 3D printing, beer, food, gardening, sewing, fire-breathing dragons, and I'm not kidding about that one.
Right.
Bikes, anything you can possibly imagine creating can be created at makerspaces, and you will find an amazing collection of very interesting people, all ages, doing all kinds of stuff. And I cannot emphasize enough, if you want to get out of the doldrums, go to go to the makerspaces, come to events like this and see what people are doing out in the world and what great fun things. I guess the best thing is that it's fun, just fun. Okay.
Fun is important.
And from this desk, I'm looking at some puppets of furry birds, for example.
Good old EPO next door.
EPO next door.
For your maker needs and parts.
Oh, yes. Let me put a plug in there. EPO is electronic parts outlet. They're over in Houston, and I highly recommend, if you're at all interested in geeks and toys and stuff like that, come and visit this place and spend a couple of hours. I bought a Santa surveillance system here today. It was a $40 piece, and it has a fake security camera and a little thing underneath it that says "You're naughty, you're nice." Okay, and it was a neat little thing.
Right.
It's fairly easy to build, and they already had it done. And so they're a great group of people. And if you want to build things, they will have parts for anything you want, and they really enjoy supporting the community. So.
In fact, Surlana and I were saying it was like Radio Shack used to be.
Yes.
But better.
Or better.
But better.
Yeah.
But better.
What it should have been.
Yeah, when we lived out in Webster, we would go to EPO all the time, and
they're a really phenomenal resource in the Houston area, and again a meeting place for people like us that you can just walk across and meet people. And I met the guy that's the head of the TMCX, which is a medical startup just south of the medical center, and they have AT&T and Johnson & Johnson. This is a huge organization. The president was sitting there walking around an EPO, picking out parts and doing fun stuff, and we just struck up a conversation. Wow.
Right. See, that was another thing that when we were bragging about EPO yesterday, and how I would love to go in, and because you go in and all of a sudden your mind starts, I can make this, or this is here. I need this part because I can do this, and I love that. And I mean, to no disrespect to places like Best Buy or even Fry's for that matter, it's great to go into a thing, and it really, it is a maker paradise. And because you can just literally start looking at things, and then your mind just starts going off, your synapses, or just hey, I could build this or that, or I need this for this part. And so it is great to see that there is something like EPO still around in the Houston market, that someone can go and just walk in the door, and all of a sudden a spark of creation goes off in your mind.
Let me make one other point about makerspaces. This could be the salvation of American manufacturing, because having local makerspaces, there's this concept of I think they call it local manufacturing, the idea that a small town could specialize on a given part, producing a piece of a larger project. And General Electric is harnessing this like crazy. If you go to General Electric, it's all over the place. They are trying to harness and encourage maker spaces to prototype things for their projects. And they'll go with specific projects and say, okay, in this airplane we want to have this kind of light. Here, maker spaces, go look at this part. And then they get the best stuff out of that, and then take it back and put it in their planes.
Yeah, and I can imagine the R&D behind that is pretty much nil for them when they look at it. I mean, the amount
in terms
of money,
of cost?
Yeah,
yes.
cost. I mean, yes.
And the other thing I'd recommend is go tune into the Greatest American Makers program that's on, I believe it's Discovery Channel.
Okay.
It's every month. They've been coming. They were on the web for a year, and then they started this up on TV. And they have a regular, their season is a competition. First prize is $1 million.
That's a good prize.
Wow.
Second prize is $250,000. And in the last year, one of my favorite things was that they had a girl who was like 13 or 14 year old who had built a sensor for her grandfather who used to fall a lot, and she built a fall sensor for her grandfather to make sure that they could detect when he fell and stuff. And she didn't win the prize that time, but one of the judges is the CEO of Intel, and he said, we're not giving you the prize, but we're giving you a summer internship at Intel.
Wow.
I think she got the better prize.
I think she did too, yeah.
And we're talking 13 years old, okay? And that's the other thing is these kids are 7, 8, 9 years old doing stuff that we could not even fathom doing.
Right.
As full adults and engineers. They're just going out and doing stuff, putting stuff together, and the parts that they can get are just unbelievable.
Right.
So anyway, I'm very high on the makerspace stuff, and in terms of education, we're starting to see it more and more in schools. And you remember the old shop classes and home ec classes? Take
Yes.
the combination. That's what this is, and this is an aspect of education that has been totally ignored and shoved out of schools. It's coming back. Schools are working with the makerspaces and starting to incorporate makerspaces. They don't necessarily even have to be in the same building. There's a lot of collaboration going on with the makerspaces in the schools here and with the homeschoolers, by the way, which is another interesting point.
I didn't even think about that, home ec and shop. Just now until you brought that home together, because I purposely took home ec when I was in high school, just because I had the technical side.
Sure.
And I make the joke that I also wanted to hang out with the girls. But,
sure.
And today I can make a mean vest on a sewing machine, and I cook when I do cook, I cook like nobody's business.
Yeah.
It's I never would have thought of as maker as bringing those two things together, and it is very apparent now that you said that to me, to look around and see of all the different things. And what I like about it is you've seen many young boys and young girls in here, and they're interested in all of it.
All of it.
Yes, all of it.
And there's very much an emphasis against the gender bias.
Boys do this, girls do that.
That's right.
And you don't cross.
Here you don't. That's not the
case.
No. None of that's going on here.
In fact, we were talking.
Really not.
We've covered many of the robotics championship stuff. And one of the things Surlana and I see quite often is that when we go in and we've talked to the teams, usually they're headed up by young women.
Yes.
And the fact that they are highly intelligent.
Yes.
They communicate on a level that you would not expect, and they just, I hate to say I went in underestimating some of these young women, but I mean they are just fun. And then you have teams that are all women, and they're beating out the boys teams.
Oh yeah.
And so it's good to see that.
It is. It's very good to see. Because for us, the population of the U.S. is over 50% women. To ignore half of the population is pretty stupid, no matter what it is.
Exactly. Trust me, I try not to underestimate somebody over here.
It happens.
It happens, and I usually come out the fool. So But well, anyway, we appreciate you coming in today, and
it's great talking to you.
And
talking about this stuff.
We've got information on you, so at some point we'll want to follow up with you and stay in touch and see how things are going with you. If you've got new projects coming up, and then we'll proclaim it on the universe here.
Go ahead and plug any websites once more or any social media. Go ahead and do that
sure.
again.
Proto MX is our my home makerspace. Katie Makerspace is wonderful. They're up and coming. There's a new one called Da Vinci, which is opening in Alvin, Texas next month. I cannot emphasize enough the makerspace at the library at Freeman Library is absolutely fantastic. And I remember when I went to their opening, and it's called the Innovation Center, I believe. We'll try and get you the website and stuff, and they have a booth here. When I went to that open house, and I ran into a man, his daughter was running around, 7-year-old daughter was running around and just having a blast in the open house.
I wanted to interview that guy, but I can't find him.
I'll find him for you.
Okay,
his
get
name's
him.
Pat. I'll make sure I get it to him.
Okay,
he's fantastic, and so is the guy that heads the library, Jim. But anyway. I was talking to his father, and the kid was running around just having a blast, and he turns to me and he goes, "Well, how long is this exhibit going to last?" And I said, "Forever." And he almost cried. And it was very emotional for me, too, to watch this guy's reaction going, "It's going to be here forever?" And I said, "As long as the library's open." And he goes, "We live a couple of miles from here. My daughter's going to go crazy." And it just gave me such a great feeling to know that this parent was going to have something for his child that could last for the rest of her life. That really hit me. That really hit me.
I can imagine so. Well, anyway, we appreciate you coming, and like I said, we'll be in touch, and thanks for being a part of the universe today.
Well, thank you for having us and having me, and I like what you're doing. I need to tune you in more.
You should.
Definitely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be
and
right back. Yeah, we'll be right back after this message.
Thank you.
Hey Space Cadets, want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello Space Cadets, this is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe. This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there. This is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Laura Elijah Neal. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt. It's Bot versus Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe.
SpaceboyUniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
You know, I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
To call in, dial area code 7137015-14. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, we're back. I'm sorry about that, a little dead space, and you know, we were talking to an old teacher for us, and so
come on over.
And so we're bringing in our next guest as we speak. And Surlana, if you could do the talking and on
fine.
headphones and get
Okay,
go ahead and put
we're
those
getting
on.
things set up. We just ran into Spaceboy's Photoshop instructor from Houston Community College, so that was very cool.
Sorry, live beverage drinking on the air.
Yep, I get some of that too.
All right, so our next guest is here. So go ahead and speak in the mic. Tell us who you are and give us a little bit history behind you, and let's go from there.
My name is Patrick Farrell. I'm the Innovation Lab trainer for Harris County Public Library down in the Clear Lake City-County Freeman Branch Library. Down in Clear Lake, we have a makerspace that was put in, and we started in February of 2015. Thanks to a bequest from a longtime patron of the Clear Lake branch. He left $134,000 to the branch.
Wow.
And our administration got behind the idea of putting a makerspace in. So we converted a quiet room to a closed-in makerspace. We now have several 3D printers. We have a laser cutter. We have a CNC mill. All right there in the library for the public to use. It's a free community makerspace.
That is mind-blowingly amazing.
My background is not in library science at all. I actually don't know Dewey Decimal System. None of that is my thing. My background is in physics and engineering. I was hired specifically for this job to help people make things. That is what I do for the county.
Wow, that sounds like a fun job.
What kind of people come in and what do they do?
Yeah.
So we offer classes, we offer resources, we offer a community. That's what we're actually going for. The kind of people that use our space, we have people come in for our classes who are trying to get introduced to the technology. We have a lot of homeschool students coming in who are looking for a way to have access to tools that some of the public schools might have access to. We have adults coming in, working on projects. We have inventors coming in, small businesses looking for a way to 3D print a prototype or to modify a part, make a part for an invention or, a patent application when they need to make a proof of concept tool. We have fantastic volunteers that are working on all sorts of cool projects. We have astronauts, we have artists, we have creative types. We have some people here at the Maker Fair who are selling their wares, who are sometimes coming in to make their parts. It's really the gamut. So if I offer a class in circuits, I never know who's going to be there. I never know how many people will be there. I have an idea for that. But I might have 7-year-old elementary school age kids and 70-year-old retired NASA engineers in the same class to learn about making. And where it's a little strange that I might try to teach something to a retired engineer who has a lot of experience with that, the real fun happens when I can get out of the way and the 70-year-old retired engineer starts talking to the 7-year-old elementary school student, and they start teaching each other. And then I can just step back and I can watch them learn, work, collaborate in our space that we built there in the library. So the classes are one thing, then coming in to work on projects. So we have kids coming in to make models for science fair projects. We've had the last 2 years, we've had students come through our space who then went on to the Intel International Science Fair and won the Young Scientist, I think it's the Young Scientist Award. It's a $50,000 scholarship.
Wow.
2 years in a row we've had students come through. So if you're in this Clear Lake area and you want to go to the International Science Fair and you want to win that award, we have a pretty good track record for the last 2 years. So that's the kind of folks that are coming in.
Sorry, we don't live in that area anymore.
we used to.
We used to live in Webster.
But still, it's part of the Houston area. You know, we are pro-Houston area. So
and what we're trying to do is point out the fact that wouldn't it be wonderful if these kind of spaces existed everywhere?
Yes.
You know, we're one of 26 branches of Harris County Public Library. What if other branches have that? What if we had the resources to put that kind of stuff into other spaces, so it wasn't just Freeman, so that people because I have people come in from Katy, from Spring, from Fort Bend County, from Makerspace. There's not too many places where you can go use a laser cutter for free. Right. Without having a membership or anything like that.
Right.
So now maybe we don't have the biggest laser cutter, maybe we don't have the biggest CNC machine, but we're a start.
It's there and it's free.
And it's free. And once you decide, well, you know what, I really like this machining aspect, but your machine is too small, or I need to do faster material or faster cutting, or I need to use bigger materials. Well, now they've learned some basics, and going to a bigger space like TXRX or something who have wonderful opportunities isn't so challenging, it's not so intimidating, because they've had a taste of it at the public library, the same building where you take your toddlers to story time downstairs. Now you're going upstairs to cut stuff with lasers in the same building. And I think that's just fantastic and awesome.
That is very cool, and I like the fact that I always get this frustration of there not being the knowledge out there that if you're struggling. For example, let's just say there wasn't any knowledge out there for podcasting. And okay, how do I do that? I mean, how do I, hook up a mixer, or how do I get it started streaming on my internet? I think it's wonderful that people can go to a makerspace and then kind of experiment and say, oh, well, this is how you do it, or get their hands on it, and so that's pretty exciting.
And part of that is that not all makerspaces are the same. We have we started out with a very idea, the traditional 3D printer, laser cutter type application. But you can have a makerspace that's good for sewing. You can have a fabric art space that's a makerspace that's totally awesome and doesn't have a single battery in sight. But as far as like podcasting, in our Freeman branch, we're also just opened up a digital media lab.
Oh, cool.
So in that digital media lab, you can go in and learn about podcasting. We have access to some of these tools. You have access to video editing tools and a green screen, so that it's not just the Arduinos and robotic stuff that we do in our space, but right across the room, there's another space for content creation of digital media, audio, video, photography, video conversion, and that type of stuff. So, and I think and you're right, having these resources in the community where the members can just go try it out and then find out, you know what, this is something I'm really into, and then they go off and buy their own 3D printer or whatever they're going to do, or they say, you know what, this was fun, but I don't need to invest $1,000 in this piece of equipment. I'll just come to the library whenever I want to do it. Or the Cub Scout troop that needs access to these tools, but they don't want to buy it for the troop, or they can't buy it for the troop. Because a lot of these tools we don't need every day. Some people, this is their hobby, right? And they're going to print stuff 24 hours a day if they can. And we have people like that come to the library as well. But most people, it's like once or twice a month or every third month they need a little part made, and that's what they come in and do.
And when they come in, do they kind of know how to use the machine, or is there someone there in the library that can help them out? Or
so we have orientation classes in our tools. So before you use the 3D printer, you come take an orientation class.
Safety probably too.
A little bit of safety. We kind of like to live on the edge. On our model for the library makerspaces, I want our patrons to come in and use the tools. So I'm not hand me a file and say, please make this for me. I want them to turn on the printer. I want them to load their file. I want them to load the filament, change the filament. We have patrons that if the machines break, they are eager to fix it themselves. And I love it when the machines break. And I love it when the patrons say, you know what, the filament jammed, can I go try to clear it? Or can you teach me how to fix this? Mm-hmm. And they'll sit there and we'll talk about how to level a build plate or how to clear an extruder on a 3D printer or maybe how to align the optics on a laser cutter. These folks are excited about that. And then the great thing with that is now that they've built it, now that they've used the tools, and now that they've fixed the tools, they take ownership of that as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not just a club that they go to and they use the tools and then they leave. They're going to their public library to use their tools in their makerspace. And then we've started to build that community of users that own the space and they take pride in it and take care of it. Exactly.
They want to keep it there.
Exactly. So that's why I love our model, which I'm so thankful that our administration has allowed us to have, where we let the patrons use the tools. We empower the patrons to be makers on their own and not just bring us a file and say, please print this for me or please cut this for me. Mm-hmm. And I am there. I'm a full-time employee. My job is to help people make stuff. So when they come in after they've taken the orientation class and they need help with a printer or they need help creating a file or they need to understand how to build a circuit, that's what I do. I help them make that stuff.
I think we're going to have to take a day trip back down to
Clear Lake. Webster and Clear Lake and all that good stuff.
And see if our favorite catfish place is still there.
Catfish and
Makerspace.
In Makerspace, yes.
I've often said that the only thing we lack, now that we have the Digital Media Lab, we have the Makerspace, we have fantastic books mm-hmm. and all that great stuff. We could really use a coffee shop, pizza shop, and an ice cream parlor right there in the library because then we'd never have to leave.
Indeed.
Have somebody come in and 3D print some pizza from B-Hacks over here.
Right.
That would be awesome. I've always, in our orientation, I kind of joke about things that are coming down the road. And one of the things I talk about is anything that you can squeeze through a nozzle, you can 3D print with. And my joke has always been, you can 3D print some dough, 3D print some sauce.
Spam.
And now they're here doing it. So I'm going to have to come up with a new example.
So the $1 million question I seem to ask many people here is, what does maker mean to you?
What does maker mean to me?
Mm-hmm. Being a maker, being involved in it, or part of this.
It's a way of taking back our technology. And I say that because for me, making is about technology. I recognize it isn't for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I applaud that and I support that diversity of making. But for me, it's about the electronics and that type of thing. And the fact that we don't have to be scared of the electronics, we don't have to be scared of something breaking, that we can take ownership of that. And if it breaks, feel like we can fix it or modify it. We have these hack sessions where we take old stuff and we tear them apart and make new stuff out of it. That reuse, that ownership of it, instead of being a black box that we don't understand, mm-hmm. that we're scared of, that we don't want to pull the warranty sticker off of, that, I don't want to put these kind of batteries in because it says not to. I want to understand why it says not to put those kind of batteries in and then break the rules and then come up with new ways to do it. So that's what it is to me. It's really about owning the technology around us, not being slaves to it or being scared of it.
That's a good answer. Like I work in IT myself, and it's all about taking ownership of whatever project you're going to undertake. Something's broken, you're asked to fix it, and when it's all said and done, you've documented the process of resolving the issue and then fixing a product. And there's something that comes along with that is a sense of accomplishment that you undertook something that. You weren't, it was kind of thrown in your way, but you made it your own, and at the end of the day, it's all good. So, yeah.
And you mentioned something there about documenting and sharing that's also very important for Maker.
Open source.
Open source is one thing, but it goes back to that third and most important thing that we try to offer in a makerspace, and that's the community. Mm-hmm. I can sit in my house and make stuff and solder up a thing and make a neat little circuit, and it blinks and makes noises and is a cool little gimmick or gizmo. But if all I do is put that on the shelf, that's not nearly as satisfying as sharing it with someone. So if you have a community of people that share your passions, that share your ideas, that share your enthusiasm for making things, and it's fantastic when I have artists come in and that talk to the robotics people, that talk to the sculptors, that talk to the video makers, and they're all in the same room at the same time, and they start sharing ideas and say, oh, I did this and I did that, and giving examples of that synergy that happens. And it's not really until you meet someone else and you share your project that I feel the project's done. that sharing, that discernment process at the end is as crucial as building the actual part.
That is very exciting then. What do you say, Surlana?
I want to go down there now and check it out.
Well, we have to be here till 5, and then I'm heading south. So,
if people want to find you on the web, what is your social media and all that good stuff?
Okay. First off, I'll say that we're at HCPL, Harris County Public Library, hcpl.net. That's the website for the Harris County Public Library System. As I've been trying to tell people, all libraries are awesome. HCPL is a little bit more awesome. And you can find the Freeman Branch Library on Facebook, the Freeman Library, and on Twitter you can find us at Harris County PL, at Freeman Lib, and I'm Patrick Farrell at PB Farrell, Ferrell.
Well, Patrick, we appreciate you taking the time out today and telling us about Maker.
Wonderful.
And like Surlana is saying, you're probably going to have to take a day trip down there and check out it firsthand and look at the excitement that's going on down there.
We'd love to have you.
Awesome. Anyway, that is Patrick, and don't go anywhere, Patrick. I'm going to put us back into a break, and when we come back, we'll have final thoughts for the Maker Faire Day 2, so don't go anywhere. Hey, Space Cadets! Want to show your love for the universe? Get your official SBU t-shirt now. Just click the banner on the homepage. Other products are available too. Get yours today.
Hello, Space Cadets. This is Surlana, and I realize you are busy and can't always be there for our live show. Fortunately, our shows are available on demand on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and TuneIn. Just search for Spaceboy Universe.
This is author Gordon Root. You are listening to the Spaceboy Universe. This is K28, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Spaceboy Universe. Rock on, Spaceboy.
Hey there, this is Wendy. I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, this is Elisha, and you're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelei DeMille. I listen to Spaceboy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mom and them I said hi.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt at Bot vs. Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot. You're terminated. Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production. You're listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
A lot of people have been asking about T-shirts from the universe.
They have?
Yeah, in fact, they've been, seeing these things pop up here and there, and they've been wondering where to get them.
Well, all you have to do is go to spaceboyuniverse.com, and there is a banner ad right there you can click on, take you right to the store so you can grab a T-shirt for yourself.
Is it just T-shirts?
Well, no, there's more than just T-shirts. You can take a piece of the universe with you on many different kinds of products.
Sounds cool. Go to spaceboyuniverse.com. Hey, Surlana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
Spaceboyuniverse.com. Techno, dance, atmospheric moods? Yes, my friends. My latest release, Digital, has something for everyone. Even makes a great gift for Grandma. Buy your digital download at spaceboymusic.com. Hey, Surlana.
Yeah, Spaceboy?
I've been getting a few calls lately about people that are just not able to catch the live show, and they're wondering about the on-demand show for Spaceboy Universe.
Indeed there is. You can catch our archives on our YouTube channel and on SoundCloud. We're also on a variety of other platforms such as Spreaker, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
Well, that sounds cool.
It is. So check out our archives on any of these websites.
And you can definitely get to these links by going to spaceboyuniverse.com.
to call in, dial area code 713-701-5214. You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Surlana.
All right, Space Cadets, I'm sorry, but, we've given the number out, but there is no way to call us right now. We used a break that was quick and easy, and I could time it out for 4 minutes, and it is what it is, and that is what it is. So, Surlana, this is the wrap-up time, I believe. We had one more people coming over this way, but we haven't seen them.
We haven't seen them, but we may instead just go do a video interview, which will get uploaded later.
Yeah, so, we'll go from there. And let's see here. So, day 2 of our 2-day event. What do you think? Did we rock it?
Well, I had a thing down here where I guess I moved it. Anyway, well, before we came here, I thought, like probably most people, sorry. No, that's not it. I thought, like most people, this is just about technology and robots. So I've learned that there are makers or there's people back there with sewing machines, antique sewing machines. They're learning how to sew seams, do basic stitching. There are people who are making handmade soaps, fragrances, nail polish, perfumes. There's jewelry makers. There are people doing things with Lego I've never seen before. Mm-hmm. There's miniature drone racing.
Yes.
There is people
making
all kind of 3D printed
and
things.
Fish.
There's art cars. Down. There's all kind of good stuff happening there.
And we're getting a notice here. As far as I know, he left. Yeah. But yeah, all sorts of cool stuff. The art car is probably one of your favorites.
Yeah, well, Houston has an art car parade, don't they? So that's something we easily check out. We have that guy's information.
And there's R2-D2 off in the distance.
Yeah, there is. R2-D2 is white and blue. This R2-D2 is white and green, and he has all the same sounds and beeps and bloops. He's running right in front of us now. Very, very cool. He does everything the real R2 does.
And I'll be loading that up here very shortly if you're following us on the
you just took some video of him.
And
yes, like you said, the fish car with the rolling fish Segway was my favorite of everything here. I got some other good video of that. I've uploaded to Facebook.
It cracked me up, Space Cadets, because here the one thing that Surlana keeps playing over and over is the
fish car thing.
The fish car thing, and the what is it called? The Tabernacle? What?
The Sashimi Tabernacle Choir.
I mean, I admit it's funny and it's interesting, and I've seen the videos for it on YouTube, and it's cracked me up many times. But it seems to got you in a tizzy there too as well.
Another thing, makers spaces are very kid family friendly. There is a lot of interactive things here for kids to do, build, paint, get messy, put together. And it's not just about science, technology, engineering, math. It's also about art and music. So these things are trying to get meshed together to form a nice, cohesive. Sorry, I got distracted there. It's very distracting here.
It is. There's so many visuals all the way around. What distracted you, huh?
I don't know. I just looked over there and saw something. But anyway, this place is amazing. If you have a maker fair in your town or in the nearest town, I urge you to go. If you have the ability to start a maker space or help someone start a maker space like Patrick Farrell just described, please go do it. It sounds amazing. It sounds like it's endless fun and benefits to the community.
Well, we've had fun, with the exception of setting everything up.
Breakdown is going to be not fun.
I admit, Surlana, I'm sorry. I've had a few Snickers moments.
Mm-hmm. I actually have a headache. I've had a headache all day.
I was looking so pretty this morning, and ate
He has crashed hard.
I had a sausage croissant thing.
For breakfast.
And it leaked on my shirt this morning and
made him so angry.
I had a conniption fit, I ruined a shirt that I really loved, and
he went and whined and complained and got a free maker shirt.
I got my own shirt, And then, of course, Surlana got a shirt, too. I guess they felt bad.
Yeah, well, it's white, and I thought it might be a little see-through, so
I see.
I didn't, for modesty's sake, I
well,
kept
you know,
that.
I'm not much on wearing white shirts either, but I put this shirt over my Sting shirt. And, you know.
Now he's wearing 3 shirts.
I'm wearing 3 shirts, and it's just
he's
probably
very,
just as
very
well.
decent.
Because the AC unit is blowing right on us. All of a sudden, the air kicked on.
It feels good, though.
It does feel, you know, for a second there we were stuffy, but it got good. So, Surlana, what else have we learned today?
I've learned that there's a puzzle you can't solve. I've learned that EPO is still awesome.
Oh, wait, EPO also likes to watch me while I strip.
Yes, when you take off your spacesuit. The Houston Children's Museum is here and had a lot of fun interactive thing. First, Texas here. First is the Texas Robotics Invitational for the kids and teens to build robots and not fight them in competition, but have a competition against teams. They actually had live competitions in the back here, and it actually counted toward real competitions that we've seen before.
I've learned that you can put lights in a water bottle.
You can put LEDs just about anywhere.
Yeah, I can only imagine why you're smiling, grinning.
There's some places they probably shouldn't go.
Yeah, I would say so too. But a lot of young kids here showed up and was a part of the event.
We found a way to a gimmick. I just put up a sign said, "Try the helmet on, take a selfie."
Yeah, so people were taking pictures.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 flyers left out of the stack we've got.
Like we had over 100 and almost 170 flyers
just for the show.
For this show. And we got to hand it to Kinko's or FedEx office.
FedEx office.
Yes, FedEx office. We just dropped Kinko's. FedEx office was a champ and came through with our banner. The banner looks awesome, and then the flyers that we had to print at the last minute.
There's one in this building somewhere upstairs.
But it was amazing that we got that work. So a little shout out to FedEx office. Thank you, appreciate it. Let's see, what else do we have here that we learned? The food, well, it was all right. The nachos were good. They get soggy quick.
Yeah.
Hot dog was all right. The pizza.
Pretzel's good.
Oh, pretzel looked good.
It's still over here.
I might have another
Let's
bite
have
of
some
that.
bite of that.
But overall, we were talking to Dave a little bit earlier.
Let's talk about Dave for a second before we wrap up. Let's see here. I want to make sure I have his last name correct. He is the producer and coordinator of this event.
And Surlana's going through that.
Dave Brunette.
David
Brunette.
David Brunette, but we call him Dave.
We know a lot of Daves.
We know a lot. In our book, he's called Maker Dave.
Yeah. So we keep them all straight.
Yeah, we keep them all straight because we know too many Daves, and it is what it is. So, you know.
But he was the one we met at the Texas Robotic Invitational.
And it was like a meant-to-be thing.
And he says, you want to be a part of Houston Mini Maker Fair? And we went, yeah.
He saw us, and he knew immediately that we were meant to be here at Maker, and we had the personality to pull it off. And
it all started at Comet Palooza right here in the George R. Brown Center when you're walking around in your spaceman suit and helmet.
Oh,
and
yes.
they dragged the first Robotic Invitational dragged us over, and we met
Gregory Allen.
And he invited us to the first Robotics Invitational. We went there, met Dave Burnett, and here we are.
There we are. It's amazing how these things, it's like, I was saying it's like Forrest Gump, where it's like the feather and it just kind of goes here and there and everywhere.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well, just go with it.
Never saw
Just
Forrest
go
Gump.
with it. That's fine. And I'm shocked that you haven't seen Forrest Gump.
I just don't want to.
Anyway, life is more than a box of chocolates. So the point I was trying to make is that you never know when you take a journey where you're going to go. I mean, you plan out for the best and hope for the best, and who knows where you end up.
And we've learned a lot. We learned what we need to do next time.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, speaking of next time, Dave has invited us back to the next year's Maker Fair.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty exciting, and he's said that he's going to, we're in Exhibit A, that it might expand out to Exhibit B, so it'll be A and B next year. So that'll be exciting.
Hall A and Hall B.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I said Exhibit. I guess I'm thinking
Exhibition Hall.
Yeah,
I'm thinking Exhibition Hall. That's fine.
Yeah. So we're excited about that. I'm looking. I mean, I know the next major event that we're going to be going to is next May. We'll be at the Comic Palooza. One way or another.
They moved it up to May.
I think that will be the only event, Comic Palooza.
And we got a video interview with a lady the woman from Comic Palooza. We interviewed her, and she showed us about, some costumes you can make with simple, everyday materials.
And that'll be up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, give me some time to get all these things cut together, and we're going to make something for Maker Faire Dave here to help promote Houston Mini Maker Faire.
So, anybody else that kind of stands out to you that we did interview or came across?
It was great.
The people that say don't take our pictures, did that entertain you?
Yeah. Not sure why you'd come to a convention with a product and say don't take me a picture. Don't take the picture of my product, so don't go to a convention maybe. But I don't know. To each their own. Not here to criticize.
Yeah, well,
I'm puzzled.
Can I be grumbled about it?
It's just puzzling to me.
The fact is, we cover technology-related device, and
it was a cool technology.
It was good, and you know how we like to toot everybody's horn when it comes to.
And they told us this doesn't look good unless you have a really high-res camera, and our camera says 4K on the side. This is the highest as you could possibly get.
Highest user end, not professional camera that you can buy.
It's called prosumer.
Yeah, prosumer.
It's right before you start buying professional camera equipment. It's the one right below that one.
Anyway, I'm not going to cry over it.
No, it's their loss.
Yeah, it's their loss. As we in the universe like to promote everybody, we try to do the best we can. And if they choose not to be a part of the universe, what can we do?
No, well, let's not dwell on that.
Banished to the parallel universe.
We've had too much fun. We've met too many interesting people, too many interesting concepts. There's more here than we could cover in 2 days. We would need another whole day to talk to more vendors and exhibitors.
Speaking of a whole another day, you're lucky because tomorrow you've taken off.
I asked for a vacay day. I didn't say why. So I'm taking tomorrow off to rest, help start cleaning the house, write thank you notes to people here at Maker Faire, cut some video.
Next week, Amanda Diane is going to come visit us on the 20th.
Yeah, Amanda Diane that we interviewed is going to come back and record some vocals for you for a song you have written for her project, The Cabin, that will be in the ending credits. Won't that be cool?
Yeah, I think that's cool. It'll be a first for me where my music will finally be featured in some kind of movie and
independent film.
An independent film, and I'm jazzed about it. I was when she asked, I was like, wow,
you could be on IMDb.
Finally. So I guess
it's 420.
It is 420. So here in Houston,
you know what that means.
So
it's time to go home.
It's time to go home. Exactly, Surlana. So, anything you want to do some housekeeping about what's coming up and the future?
Again, let's see. Next Saturday we'll be back as usual, live at 9 p.m. Saturday night Central Standard Time, and we will be talking about a history topic because we haven't done a history topic in a while. And you picked this. You want to talk about U.S. traitors.
Yes, traitors in the United States.
Traitors to the state.
Yeah. So that'll be an interesting topic. It'll be historical. It'll be what it is, and then if you complain about it, well, it's up to you to make your own decision. But
we're going to look at a historical aspect, and what I've discovered so far is, we didn't have like 3 or 4 traders in the 18 whatevers. They're recent. Mm-hmm. So very recent.
It's going to be good, and I can tell you right now that those traders do not include anybody recently from politics. So no, there won't be any.
Not any elected or unelected officials. Yeah, so we're not going there. And then on November 26th, tentatively, because I keep thinking this guy might cancel because he's got a busy schedule. Comedian Rich Scheidner, is going to talk to us about his book he wrote, Kicking Through the Ashes, that I'm going to read this week. And I've got questions I'm dying to ask him because I've always wanted to talk to a stand-up comedian.
Well, that's going to be exciting because I'm proud of you in the sense that you reeled this one in, and it's all you. But it'll be fun to have something entertaining, and I look forward to that.
And I think we can go as far as December 3rd. Is December 3rd our Bowie show?
Oh yeah, Bowie is on the 3rd, and the week after that, I believe we have our old friend Patrick Spohr
who
back.
was just recently on Solar's Blue Ravens Hyperspace that we're probably going to listen to on the way back home.
Yes.
From here.
Because we love Patrick and we love Solaris, and
I heard they said good things about us, so I want to see what they said.
Yeah, gotta keep them in check. Make sure that they're saying good things about the universe, and so, quite frankly, when it comes to Solaris, she's so supportive of our show. And
so is Patrick.
And Patrick is indeed, and it's great to have people like them supporting the universe, and it's always good to have support like that, the support structure, and so yes.
I'm going to see if I can talk Patrick into getting a Twitter account.
Yeah, Twitter account, that would be good.
Yeah,
yes.
he does not have that.
Maybe we can help him out like we do some other people. And so with that said and done, what we're going to do is we're going to get on out of here. And so say goodnight, Surlana.
Good night, Surlana. Just finish.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Surlana. Executive producer is Surlana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Mark S, and Bob N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Surlana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.